Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You know, about 2 years ago, I took the cylinders off this machine and took them apart, and I found that they needed a little bit of machine work, and I was gonna get to it eventually. Well, eventually is right now, because in this video, we're gonna be rebuilding them and reinstalling them. So they have been laying out on my shop floor for about 2 years now. I've been tripping over them almost every single day. I'm actually really excited to get them out of here and to the machine shop, and then we'll go from there. So I'm finally taking these in. The barrels, all 4 of these need to get re-honed. There's a little bit of like rust and crap at the ends where water had been sitting. And this is the bucket rod right here. It needs to be re-chromed. It has a bunch of scratches all over it. But I've been over all the other rods and they're all fine. It's just this one's scratched up. I put the nut back on here just to protect the threads. They don't need it or anything. I went to a company called Precision Equipment. They're in Portland. Here's the total cost, $991. Originally on this rod, they had looked at it and determined that it was slightly bent. I think they said it was 30 thou over. So they got back to me and said, you know, we might need to grind it down and kind of redo it, which was gonna be like 1,500 bucks. I can go and get a replacement rod or an entire cylinder at the junkyard, but then I kind of know my luck. That's gonna be probably even more bent. So basically I just asked them, please do what you can, and you know, without it being super expensive. They said they straightened it. I'm not sure exactly how they did that, but that was part of what they charged for, and then they stripped the chrome off, pre-polish, re-chrome, polish the chrome. And then on all 4 barrels, they also honed those. So yeah, $963, I feel like that's pretty fair for 4 barrels and a new rod, re-chrome. I don't know. So they had sent me some pictures on the barrels after they had honed them. Like they honed the first one and there was still some pitting in it. I forget the amount of material they had taken out, but there was still some pitting, and then they didn't want to take any more out. They're just sending me pictures and like, what do you want to do? Which I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I asked them for advice. They said it should be fine. So by the way, one more thing on cost, and I apologize, I always forget to mention this, but people are always asking about it, what stuff costs. If you look in the video description for any of these videos, there's a spreadsheet there, which you can open up, and it's basically everything I paid up until this point, and I constantly update it as I buy new stuff. This might be how much material they removed, 3 thou on the hone job. This would be boom number 1. Let's see if we can get some good. The honing job looks great, but yeah, there's still a lot of junk in there that they couldn't get out. I mean, there's only so much they can do. Oh boy, it's really bad. Look at their side. They didn't even touch that there. That's really bad. I mean, the best we can do is give it a shot. If this doesn't work, I do know where I can get some replacement cylinders. I mean, it's gonna be expensive, but here's the bucket. Oh yeah, right in there. They sent me this picture. So right there. But that should be okay. I think that'll be okay. And let's check the other boom cylinder. This one looks a lot better than the other one. So the other one must have been the one that was on the driver's side. It was completely gone. They had like a plastic bag around it to keep it from like spraying oil everywhere. The original owner. This looks okay. I see a little bit right there, but yeah, this one looks really good compared to the other one. So the stick cylinder shouldn't be bad because it's kind of angled. It's angled the other way, so water shouldn't collect in it. Yeah, this one looks pretty good. Oh, I see. You see that white line back there? That's not good. I think as long as it's not sharp, which that feels really smooth, I think we'll be okay. But there's only one way to find out. I guess I don't know what to start with. I think there's like a shim on there. So I got my dullest pick here so I don't scratch anything. These are not the same. So we got a green backup ring. We'll come back to that one. I think I've seen videos of this before. This one's really hard to get on. Probably a better idea just to cut this. Another one. This is actually pretty flexible. That's it for this thing. So there's a lot of rust on here that I need to polish off. This piece also got a lot of rust on it. Especially here, what is that? Okay, next up is this thing, and there's a whole bunch of junk in here. There's like seals, all kinds of O-rings, and wear rings and other stuff, and then there's a snap ring in there, if I can get that in the light. I was just looking at the manual, so just some nomenclature. This is called the head. Apparently, this here is called the cushion ring, and this, you probably already knew, is called the piston. So there's a couple, there's a O-ring and a backup ring here. We'll take these out real quick. Guess this backup ring isn't split. Ooh. This cylinder was leaking. I'm not exactly sure why. Can you come out? There we go, I got it through. There we go. That's a big one. So that was there. Was this broken one? Oh, this is just a backup ring. That was the neighbors telling me that a certain dog was over at their house. See if she stays there now. Okay, so you gotta get the wiper ring out. That thing's pretty cooked. Okay, we're gonna have to get this out. There's a snap ring in there on the top. That needs to come out next, I think. Go in here. So that was at the bottom. And then hopefully I can just tap this bushing out without wrecking everything. So this thing, which I think is called just the bushing, it's really stuck in there. If you look at the new one, it's got a split in it. Well, it took me about 30 minutes, but I finally got this inner bushing to move. I've been just hammering on it. It's all thrashed in there just from me banging on it like a caveman, but it's finally starting to slide out. There is a split, so I'm gonna hit right where the split is. That should make it a little bit easier. I'm just trying to be careful so I don't ding up anything else in here. Now, just gotta get it on each side. This is a total hack job. Oh, I think I got it. Yeah, there you go. So it was really in there. I mean, I don't know, there's gotta be a trick to getting this out. Maybe you can heat this thing up or something. Also off camera, I pulled out, so these all went like this, and then there was a couple of these rings in here that were down in the next section. This is the stack up here. I'm gonna need this for future reference. Fortunately, I have a couple other cylinders I can look at, but I think that's it for this thing. I don't think I really marred anything up in here too badly. This thing's really heavy. All right, well, despite how dirty this looks, this table is actually clean. I got the kit here, which this is all dusty, so let me open it up. I bought these kits a long time ago thinking I was gonna do this like a year ago, but I haven't. I think this is Fox Kits or something like that is the brand. It's supposed to be pretty decent. It did come with, well, it came with a breakout diagram here, but it also has like a note here about an improved buffer seal. I think this is on the head. It looks like it's a head seal somewhere. So when we get to the head, we'll have to kind of look at this a little bit closer. Here, so that's, or is that? I don't remember pulling this many things off of the cylinder, but all the bigger diameter stuff goes on the piston probably. That looks probably right. And there was 2 backup rings. By the way, I spent a lot of time trying to polish this thing, and there's just a lot of areas like this. If you can see that, this is where rust was. This thing was sitting in water for a long time, but I think it's gonna be okay. Like the surfaces in here, which is where the seals actually seal against, I think are okay. Anyway, the directions tell you to put this on first. So I think this O-ring goes over the middle, and then this goes over that. Now this is, I think, the hard part. You have to stretch this into place. It has a bunch of special tools listed. Maybe I'll just try warming this up in like hot oil and seeing if that makes it go over easier. Because what's going to happen here is you're going to get it over this first ridge, and it's going to seat into here and then into here before going there. Just kind of pre-lube that. Oh yeah, this is pretty flexible. Probably just go directly into there. And we'll get this up to, I don't know, something that's like not scalding. I don't think we want to get too hot. Maybe 150 Fahrenheit maybe. It's smoking. The outside of this thing got, this torch is not messing around. 140 already. This is way faster than the propane stove. Yeah, that's pretty warm. It's always good to use nitrile gloves for this kind of stuff, because if you get it too hot, then the gloves will just melt to your fingers and they won't wreck anything else. Yeah, it's... I got the first one. Look at that though. You can grab it and kind of... It's telling me to go for it. Yeah, I got a screwdriver in here. This is actually, as long as I'm not gouging this thing, I think I should be okay. Oh, and we got it over. There we go. So this thing is clearly bent, kind of well, not bent, but it's warped out of shape. And there is a next step in the manual is you're supposed to put a tool over this thing to kind of resize it, which I obviously do not have. So this here is my engine piston ring compressor. This one looks about right. So let's see if we can get this on here and then compress this whole mess to size it. Is this going to work? Probably not. But it's worth a shot. Oop, that's not straight. Okay. Well, it's been a few minutes. Let's give this a shot, see what it looks like. Hopefully it's not all warped out. Yeah. It actually looks pretty good. Pretty straight on there. The manual says to put them 180 out, so let's get this first one in. And then we'll get the other one, so this is top, put that on the bottom. You also want to put these 180 out according to the manual, so we'll do these like 90 from that. 90 from, oops, 90 from that. We'll do 90 from the previous, so there. I don't think it really matters. I have no idea what I'm doing, by the way. And then there. All right, so thinking about the head next, there's a little bit of a question because of this. So there's 5 pieces here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's only 4 on the previous set of hardware. And I think this is the new item right here. This is a kind of a thick piece. And I think it's this outer ring on here. Hey guys, it's Matt from the future here. Matt from the past kind of screwed up on the filming for some of this, so I'm going to redo this real quick and I'm going to insert this back in. So this right here is the head for one of the boom cylinders, and what was kind of hanging me up was this drawing, which now that I know is actually very simple. So the problem I was having is not this ring in here, zoom in, but the next ring in. Can we get a light on that? With the ring right there, the second ring in, there was another outer rubber ring that had to come out, and that's what this one was. I'm pretty sure I filmed myself screwing around with this thing. So anyways, this goes in there, and then inside of that go these 2 rings. So that's what I was missing. I don't think I filmed myself doing that, so let's go ahead and do it now. So according to this pressure on notch side of rubber ring. So this should go down. This is the notch side right here. Can you see this? This is the notch side. This is going to go down. And to install this is another thing I wanted to mention. A subscriber sent me this tool, Richard at Garrett Farms. Oops, sent me this, and this is, I really wish I would have had this when I was rebuilding the swivel joint, but let me actually use it right. So this is a seal installer. So we're going to fold that up and then drop this in. Okay. So that was pointed down, and then so the black one goes down, which is the pressure side, and then the chamfer, I don't know if you guys can see this, the chamfer on this light colored one is actually the black one. The chamfer faces down. So looking at here, you probably can't tell because it's all shiny, but this is the chamfered side. So this is going to go in, and again, this sits right inside of that rubber ring. And then what I did before was I took a pick and then just used this to push it down. And then the green ring goes in. back of this to push it, and there we go. So that's all there was to it. We're gonna jump back to the mat in the past now, and he's gonna finish rebuilding this. And me in the future, I'm gonna finish rebuilding this one. Okay, next up, you're supposed to install this bushing into the head, which they say you need a special tool to do. We'll see about that. So what I've done here is I've taken the old bushing, which I beat the heck out of, but I did grind this area down. This is the area that I tore up from hitting on it. This area is still original, so I'm going to use this as a press. So put it in there, and then I'm going to hopefully just hit on this thing, and it should drive it in without deforming anything. We'll give it a shot here. Okay, that actually worked okay. I got it in there. It's seated all the way. I didn't deform anything. If I had to complain about one thing though, on the new bushing here, this crush, when it's split right there, it's not a, that crush, it's not perfectly like round inside. I can feel it with my finger. It's comes out a little bit. Like this is just slightly too long. I don't think that's a problem. I mean, the rod goes through here. The rod's hardened, obviously. This is a soft metal, so I'm assuming the rod's just gonna wear that out, hopefully. But I guess if I see a huge mark on the rod, I'll know I have a problem. See if I can do this without shooting my eye out. See if I can just push it in with that. There we go. All right, that's in. So the next step, I think, is this one. So I'm guessing this is the pressure side. And should just kind of, let's see if we can just kind of shove this in here. Yep. Just kind of lightly shove that. There we go. And then last step, we had the backup ring, which goes on top. So on this one, originally, this spring was all shredded. This isn't really going in too well. There we go. The last one is this wiper seal, which goes in right here. There we go. Actually, I don't want to probably set it directly on that because that's like sticking out. So I just set it on the side for now because we have to put the this seal on. So this is a backup ring, which I guess we just have to stretch, and last O-ring. So just as a sanity check, I did look at a head I haven't disassembled yet to make sure that I had everything in the right order, which I do. It's black, and then green, then the seal with the lip facing down, then this big huge backup ring, and then the wiper ring, which on this one, the wiper ring is completely missing. It's just the metal shell left on it, and like that seal was broken in half. These things are so cooked, and it's way rustier inside. So this is gonna be the boom cylinders were by far like the rustiest cylinders out of everything. So these will be fun to do. So the next step is just to get this stuff installed on the rod. Fortunately, I did pick up a very nice hydraulic bench where it's gonna be very easy to install this stuff. So let me go ahead and pull that out, and we'll get this all installed. Uh-oh. Whew. That is some shiny chrome. It looks like they really cleaned it too. That's good. It's a tight fit. There we go. Let's get up to that paper. Okay, next up is the cushion ring. It just says to put the rounded edge, which I'm guessing is this side, right? Towards the piston, which is going to be like that. And we're going to have to move this all back, aren't we? All right. Oh, it's frozen up. It was, there we go. Okay. Right there. Actually, I'm an idiot. I didn't have to move that back at all because the piston just goes right here. For some reason, I thought it was further up on the rod, but okay. Okay, that's just rust pitting. That's not dirt. Just making sure. Okay. All right, so the little disc that's in here is already installed. They call it a shim, but I think what it actually does is just keeps this nut from messing up the face of the piston here when you tighten it. Anyways, it's installed. I did run a tap through this hole, and I tried to like undeform it as much as possible so that that new grub screw actually goes in there right. And then before we install this into the barrel, I'll make sure that these are all 180 out from each other again. It is leaking on here. Okay, so we're tightening. Here we go. So this needs to be about here. That might be it right there. Oh, is that too far? There you go, you can probably see that. So it's like 70, actually that looks better on camera than it does in real life. In real life, it's like 70% lined up. On camera, it looks pretty dang lined up. So yeah, I think that's good. Okay, so I got the old versus the new grub screw just so you can see how messed up that one is. So I'm gonna drop this ball bearing in. Right there, it's over the thread, so we're definitely good there. We are ready for this barrel, but let's talk about it real quick. This thing is ridden in the back of my pickup truck. It's been sitting in here for a couple weeks now. It's just, if I can relate how dusty it is and dirty it is in there. it needs to be flushed out. That turned out real nice. This PVC pipe is actually clean too. Despite how it looks, I've wiped it down a few times. Actually, and then we'll spray a little brake clean in here. Okay, a lot of brake clean. Mostly as a solvent. I don't know what they used to machine this barrel out. I'm assuming they cleaned it. It seems like a pretty professional shop. Yeah, look at that. That was just on one pass. Much like cleaning out your shotgun, we'll probably run a few rags through here until it comes out clean. This is rag number 4. Oop, still quite dirty. So let's... Oh my God. A little bit of an unfortunate circumstance, but this boom does not raise it high enough to drop the cylinder in. Okay, we got the extension installed up there, which will give us just the height we need to get it into there. There's obviously a little bit of an angle mismatch, but I think if we just roll the cherry picker back while we drop it, I'm just gonna have to be a little bit careful to not scratch anything. Now, let me make sure that these backup rings are aligned right. Okay, that looks good. Pretty sure this is what they do in the factory. Whoa, getting a little bit dark out here. Hopefully, whoa, okay, I think we got it. That seems to be in there. A backup ring was trying to pop out of there. I had to like jack it up a little bit, hold it with my finger, and then slowly slide it down. And I think it went in okay because it slid way in there. There's like a bolt hole on the barrel that doesn't go anywhere. Let's find out here. Okay, check this out. So we got the port there on the head, and then on the barrel, the port for the bottom down there, 180 out. And then if you look in here, there's a gap between those two bolts. Nothing there, right? But you get over to this side, so there's the same gap there, and then there's a hole there, which, well, you can, I don't know if you can see in there, but the threads are all like rusted out. Hasn't ever been used. So if you look at the parts diagram, this right here is for the boom, right side, and on the barrel you have the port there, and then on the head you have it 90 out. So this is boom left, and you got the port there, and I'm assuming, yeah, the other port's right there, so it's 270 out. Yeah, stick cylinder. So you have it there and there, so it's 90 out. And then for the bucket, it is that way and that way, so it's a 180 out. Getting late. Let's see if I can do this without scratching the chrome. Oh, that looks nice. Unfortunately, it's so dark I can't tell, but this is gonna want to fall out. Oh boy. Oh boy. There we go. Yep. Now the bad news is if I've made a mistake, by the time you watch this video, I'm gonna have done all the cylinders. So it's already gonna be too late to fix anything. I'm pretty sure I'm right, but if you see a mistake I've made, just don't even tell me because it's too late now. Easy as that, 2 more. Okay, so with that cylinder done, let's talk about the hardest cylinder to do, which is gonna be the stick cylinder, also known as the arm cylinder, which is right here. And you can see it's actually already done. So if you saw the previous videos, I think there was 2 different videos where I tried to get this cylinder apart. I couldn't get the nut off of it. And in fact, I tried again before this video even started. I have some footage of it. I was using the Caterpillar, well, I was using both Caterpillars and just trying to crack this nut loose. I could not do it. I mean, I'm sure I could have figured it out eventually. I started exceeding the amount of risk I wanted to exceed, where if I failed, I'm gonna end up damaging the rod. When I started breaking down the cost of getting it re-chromed versus just having a shop assemble it for me, it just did not make any sense to continue. So I took it into a shop and they did all the work and it was only a couple $100. So at this point, there's only 2 more cylinders to do. The 2 boom cylinders, these were full of water. And just looking at the heads of both of these, they're full of rust. Now for the hard part. Oh, this is still in here. There we go. Yeah, it's really rusty in there, but it's not like, it's just rusty fluid. It's not actually, the metal's not rusted. Okay, I got it out. It was actually a lot easier because I kind of knew what to expect. But what ends up working pretty well is you just find the split and you hit it really hard, kind of with a chisel. An air chisel would probably work really well for this because you can hammer it really fast. But it comes out. This thing is rusty inside. There we go. So on these, there's this ring right here, which is where that, what was it called? The buffer tube or whatever goes over. Oh, it's heavy. This is like a plastic. I'm looking at the new kit here. It appears that's this brown one. So hopefully, and then this one also has, this looks like a new shim, this metal thing, a new one of these, which the other kit did not have for the bucket. Okay, I'm cleaning off this piston. I don't know if I showed this on the other piston, but you can see this brown ring on the inside. So that is like a residue left over from that rubber ring that was inside of there. So on this one, it's pretty deep. So what I've been doing, just right there on that section, that seems to have cleared it up. Inside of this head, let's see if I can get this here. It's pretty rusty in there. It's pretty hard to film in here, but I've done as much as I can with a Scotch pad. I need to get some kind of really small wire brush for a drill or something so I can get in all these nooks and crannies. Okay, let's see if I can use this thing. By the way, guys, I just wanted to quickly mention on this drill press here, which has been great, by the way, so far. If you saw the previous video where I rebuilt it, it's really nice to use, so much better than the other one. But I did follow a lot of your guys' advice, and I added a foot pedal in during this video, I added it, and it's been really nice. You can use it as like a momentary switch, or you can just click it all the way on. And it is nice having the option to shut the drill off right there by your feet, because I could kind of foresee the issue where you get a glove or a hand caught up in something, and you know, you can't use your hands to turn the machine off. So really good idea. Thanks for that. Just a couple minutes of work with that little brush thing. It's definitely a lot cleaner in there. Check the other side. I already have the piston rebuilt. Yep, I can tell we're seated. Okay, so there's little notches on here, and according to the other one, the notches go facing this way. Hopefully that's correct. I'm sure it is. The head here. Ooh, that was a big miss. Come on, there we go. Ooh, okay, so there's this, which I'm gonna use a replacement one out of the kit. You know, it's all nice and lubricated. And we're almost done with this one. There's a bug in here already. I think it was an extra 1,000 foot-pounds that these were tightened. The bucket cylinder was pretty loose. It was like, 1,500, 2,000, but this is a lot more. So here we go. Okay, that's probably good. Well, you guys can't see it, but we're significantly past the original indent for the ball bearing to sit in, which there's no reason to panic. Just relax, dog. So all you got to do is you just got to drill a new little indent in, and then we'll be good to go. Try not to hit the threads. That'd be nice. Okay, that's really good, but unfortunately now there's a ton of junk in here we got to clean out. And I really should have shielded this thing, because it's just going to have junk all over this piston, which is not good for it. Okay, we got our ball here. Place there. No, right there, I can tell that's good. The cherry picker just barely fits with the extension on up there. I was actually kind of worried about it because the other one was a lot closer, and this is, I think the cylinder is 3 inches longer. Just a little bit of lube. Barely fits. Stop it right there. We'll lower this back. Okay, that's looking good. When I was lowering the bucket cylinder, and this top seal was wanting to pop out, so I think I have better control now as far as how fast this is going in. And yeah, right there, we need to kind of, I'm just gonna leave it loose. Okay, yep, that worked. It's gonna go like, uh-oh. It's gonna go this way. So I'm not gonna torque these down until they're installed on the machine, which is gonna probably be in this video, I would think. But it just makes no sense to torque them beforehand. I mean, so there's only one more cylinder. This is the third one's done now. So there's really nothing to film on the next one. I mean, it's going to be exactly the same as this one. It's just another boom cylinder. Unless there's something really interesting about it, we're just gonna jump ahead now till all these cylinders are rebuilt. Okay, there's actually one thing I wanted to try on here, and I'm sure a few of you were about to suggest this, or you already have, and you're probably right. This is a good idea, so let's give it a shot. But first of all, I've gotten this one all taken apart. This is the other boom cylinder. It's actually quite a bit rustier than the first one. Anyways, to get this bushing out, I already got the snap ring out. I wanted to try to use a air chisel right here. Definitely tears it up. Oh yeah, that works really well. Holy cow! And this is working great. So we'll just get this right in here and give it a little tickle. So there you go. Barely even did any damage to this thing. Well, I just cleaned this one up, and I have serious doubts that this head is going to be good. I'll show you why. In here, you see that first groove down in there, which is right down in here. I'm taking a ton of pitting and rusting. It was really rusty in there. It probably took me about 10 minutes of wire reeling it in the drill press to get it just this clean. All the rust is gone, but it's just a ton of pitting left behind. So this is where that big seal resides, and I think if it's not, smooth in here, then the fluid's going to leak by. So, like I said, I have my doubts if this thing's even good. Also, you can see in here, let's see, there's just areas here where it's just, water's been sitting here forever and rusting. You can see it on that lip right there. And then right in here, that should be smooth and machined. There's not a whole lot I can do, so I'm just going to give this a shot. If it works, great. If not, I'll have to find another one of these. Well, that was a lot of fun, but I got all these rebuilt. This is the one, I marked this one, but this is the one that I'm pretty sure has the bad head. It's probably going to end up leaking. It also had the worst barrel. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's talk about the next step, which is going to be pins and bushings on all these cylinders. So out of everything here, the stick in the bucket had the worst pins and bushings, which isn't really that surprising. We're looking at the stick cylinder right here, and here is the stick pin. You can probably see that. Yeah, it's slightly worn. So when you get this thing in here, it's pretty bad. So this is an obvious replacement. I'm just going to do all of these. So let's see what a new pin does without replacing the bushing real quick. So here you go, genuine Hitachi bushing. It's a lot better, but it's still a lot of slop. So let me grab the right bushing and I'll show you how tight it is. Now this in here, it is pretty tight on here. It's not tight, it slides, but it's not, doesn't really wobble. So it's pretty expensive, but I'm going to go through and replace the bushings, and all the pins except for the boom pins were actually in pretty good shape. So I'm going to leave those, but all the rest of the pins and bushings are going to get replaced. Now, as you're probably aware, this stuff does add a lot of expense. So you're probably wondering, why am I doing it? There's not a huge payoff on this. It just reduces a lot of the slop. Well, I have so much time and money wrapped up into this machine so far, if you've been watching this channel. It just doesn't make sense to start skipping over stuff like this, where it's going to have a noticeable effect when you're actually using it. You may also be asking, why not just like weld these pins out and then turn them back down in the lathe? I've seen people do that before, but if you actually look at this metal, it's actually quite hard. And so if you were just to weld it up and turn it down, it would just wear itself out fairly quickly again. Kind of just a cosmetic repair instead of actually fixing the problem. You really need to have new pins on here, I think. Now you might be able to make your own pins out of something that's hard, like W2 or whatever, and they might last for a little bit. So now the real question is how to get these bushings out. I was originally planning on pressing these out, but after the success I had with the air hammer, let's give that a shot first. Besides the bushing, there's actually, used to be at one time, a seal on both sides to kind of keep, I think it's supposed to keep dirt out and grease in. That seal's kind of gone. All that's left is like the metal shell of it. So we're gonna have to knock those out first before we push the bushing out. And don't worry, I did get all new seals for all this, so this will be hopefully all back to normal once we're done here. There we go. The other one out. bushings are pretty hard. It's flattening this bit, so I don't want to do it that way. Let's find another way to do it. I found this washer which fits in here really nicely. Next up, we got the hollow ram. This is a 30-ton hollow ram. So that goes through. This will go right into here. And then we'll go big washer. Okay, so whenever you use one of these things, and this is just a hand-powered hydraulic unit, it pulls people in that don't understand basic hydraulics. So this is a 10,000 PSI pump. This is a 30-ton unit. And what many people will say is, oh, it's a 10,000 PSI, that's only 5 tons of pressure, right? Well, no, it's PSI. So it's 10,000 PSI on the piston that's inside of this 30-ton unit. So if you look up the size of the piston in here, I forget what it is offhand, and you multiply it by, you know, the 10,000 PSI, you end up with 30 tons on the piston. Now something's moving. We're at about 1,000 PSI, which is surprising. So that'd be 1/10 of 30 tons. So we're at 3 tons of pressure to push this out. I take that back. We're just messing up that washer down here. So let me put a bigger washer in. Okay, we're back up to 1,000. 2,000. I'm gonna go ahead and pause here and grab some safety goggles. Why is this not moving? This should be moving. This is ridiculous. This is making me nervous because now we're at 3,000 PSI. That's 10 tons and nothing's moving. This is making me extremely nervous. Boy, almost at 4,000 PSI. That big, huge washer I can see is flexing. I don't really want to be standing like, I'm literally standing like 2 feet away. This is a bad idea. All right, I got the old Caterpillar out here for a shield. This is probably overkill. I just don't really feel like dying tonight, so just ooh, it's moving easy. Oh, what happened? We're up about 4,500 PSI. Then it dropped off. I think we just broke that that washer. She's recentered on there. Let's try it again. That bushing has moved, I can tell. I think it just hung up a little bit. Ooh, it's not holding pressure. That's a good sign. That might mean it's moving. It's holding right around 2,000 PSI. 20% of 30 ton, which it would be 6 tons to push this out. We're down to about 1,000 PSI now. Oh, going back up. I think we're hitting something. Okay, turns out that Hitachi does make a spacer for this. Here it is. And then we got pressure slowly going down. That's a good sign, probably, right? Is that it? Did it work? I mean, it's almost out of there. Does that count? We did it! Holy cow. Okay, here's the old bushing. Here is the new one. It's got a lot more grooves inside. One thing I noticed though is the length, or I guess that would be width or whatever, of this new bushing is significantly smaller than the original. I'll double check the part number, but I'm pretty sure this is the right one. It really shouldn't matter too much. It's the next day. That was not a lot of fun last night to get that single bushing out, but at least I kind of know the forces involved. It was a little bit over 10 tons. Now pressing it out does work, but as you saw, it's kind of painful and time consuming. So we're gonna move on to the other option, which is what I'm sure many of you are yelling at me to try through your TV screen. And we're gonna go ahead and try to weld it to make it shrink. All right. So the weld sticks. This thing is really rusted inside. Now, if you've never seen this before, this is kind of a trick as old as time. I've done it a few times on the channel before. But basically, you want to run a bead of weld, a nice big bead, all the way around the inside of the bushing here. And as it cools down, it's going to contract a little bit, and it's going to shrink the outer diameter, hopefully, of this bushing. That gonna work? Yep. All right. Okay, oh, Charlie's back just in time. Nope. This is pretty hot, but this actually down here isn't bad. I don't want it to melt the seals in here. That's something to think about though. I probably should have gone in sections here instead of getting this too hot. I put a bit more weld on the inside here, which, you know, I'm not super experienced doing this, but what's always worked for me really well is to have the thickness of the weld being as thick or thicker than the thickness of the, you know, the bushing or the bearing shell or whatever. So that's kind of what I did, is I had to go back over it to thicken it out. So now it's just about maybe a little bit more than the thickness of this bushing shell. Oh, I think it's moving. There we go. Yes. Yes. We did it. Hard to see. I'm looking at the screen on the camera. It doesn't look super rusty, but I can tell you it was really rusty in here. I would say that worked a little bit better than using the press. In fact, it worked well enough where I think I could do the rest of these and not complain too much about it. But we've already come this far. We should try another method so we can compare everything together. Okay, so the third option here, we're going to try to cut it out with the torch, just the caveman approach. Let me just say a couple of things. Number one, after that drill press video, if you saw it, where I was cutting bearings out with a torch, I have a pretty good confidence in my ability that I'm going to be able to torch this out without damaging the barrel too much. Okay, so you obviously can't cut like straight through with a torch because it's, you know, 3 or 4 inches thick. So what I kind of did is I kind of just took chunks out of it as I went down, and really all I'm trying to do there is thin it out to make it weaker so that if I'm hitting on it, maybe it'll compress a little bit and push out. Yeah, not really moving. So let's try the other side real quick. Yeah, she ain't moving at all. Okay, so the torch did not work. I cut it in 2 spots and then come back in and do the MIG weld around the inside. Okay, now that this one's out, you know, cutting into it with a torch, I don't think it really helped too much. You could probably cut a little bit deeper than I did and maybe it would have more of an effect, but I'm just gonna end up gouging into the actual cylinder itself, so I don't wanna do that. Just based on what I've done here, I think the best way forward is just to weld 2 beads around every bushing and then just hammer them out. This one's going. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. That one's moving. Let's try the last one. There it goes. That's 5. Okay, well, I got all of them out, and I don't want to really paint it as it was really easy because some of them did get hung up and I had to use some violence to remove them all the way. That air hammer was working okay for some of the times, but also had to just resort to a normal hammer to really get these things out. I already wiped these out with acetone to get all the grease out. So get any little raised areas from the air hammer. So this is the stick seal. And we need TH72. So 2 of these. Guess we can just use the new bushing to tap this in. Oh boy. So the grease fitting's right here, and I think you're supposed to have like the 2 holes in the bushing, like, you know, 90 out from those so that the grease enters it like kind of evenly. Probably doesn't matter too much. That should be fine. I think the width of this bushing is smaller than the original. So let me just make sure. I mean, I think I can use the seal to kind of set the depth when I drop this bushing in. So this is, well, it says it right there, 80 millimeter. These are 5 millimeter. It's 92. He's even. Yeah, 92. Okay, so that's 92 minus 5, so that's what, 87? So we have 7 millimeters we need to catch up on. So I think what I need to do then is I'll hammer this in another 3.5 or so millimeters, and we'll just kind of eyeball it, and that should get me set up. So now we're at 88. Yeah, so I think we're about right there. I had this thing filled over a week ago, so hopefully there's enough left in here. Kind of got delayed a little bit. I had to hide Charlie's toy, keep her from dropping it on this. Okay, I don't know really the best way to do this. let that boil for a minute. This boils off really fast, so I think I need to find a different container to do this in. And we got that way. Didn't have a hammer. There we go. Whew. Started to panic. Okay, I need to find a different container because I'm wasting way too much nitrogen on this. Yeah, depth looks pretty even. We could probably maybe bottom these out a little bit. There we go. By the way, I found out way too late that there's a company locally that makes like replacement bushings these are like $30 each versus the John Deere ones, which are a lot more expensive. What's the name of the company? It's like Grizzly Seals or something like that. They're in Washington. They make seals and bushings, apparently. This is a really nice looking bushing too. All right, well, it's getting a little dark out here, but I've gone through and I've set the depth on all of these seals. I've actually went through and I cleaned up the bushings. Some of them had a lot of junk on them, so they're all clean. Hopefully they should drop in. I got a tool here to hit them in if I need to. So we should be ready to just do one at a time. I unfortunately cannot find a better container right now to do this, and it's just boiling off super fast. We'll just do what we can tonight, and then maybe I can find some kind of like styrofoam or some other insulated container that'll not let it boil off as fast. Doesn't feel like there's much in here, so let's see what we can do. Probably should have put something in here to, is that it? Oh, there's still more in there. Yeah, it's already boiling. It's already like halfway down the bushing. That was a mistake. That might. Yep, that got stuck. I'm gonna have to press that one in. Well, I knew I was getting greedy, but it's okay. I got most of the way in. Let's see how much force it takes. Oh, it's going actually in really easily. Yeah, this is hardly taking any force at all. We're at maybe like 500 PSI, which I don't want to do that math right now. It's kind of late, but I already have $150 invested in the nitrogen flask, and it's only $20 to refill it. So I think I'm going to continue on with the nitrogen, just use this as a backup. Oh yeah. Yep. Well, it's currently 102 degrees out here, but I did get this refilled. This thing's way heavier than it was originally, so I think that was my problem, is I waited too long. Oh, that's full. Okay. Don't want that to splash on you. Probably be bad. There we go. Oh, it stopped boiling immediately. So this is gonna go there. It's not Okay, well that's not good. Let's do the next one though. Huh. Having real trouble there. I mean, the first one that I did went really well, and I think it's because I had it sitting in there longer. So let's give this one like a minute. Oh yeah, check this out. It stopped boiling. I think it must be the sign, so let's give it a shot now. Okay, well I shut the camera off, and of course the next one dropped right in, no problem. So I don't know if it's the camera's the problem, or maybe they're just getting cockeyed when I put them in. And I did switch over to a rubber mallet, which maybe the rubber mallet helps too. I guess we'll give this one a shot. If this one is the same, then we know what the problem is. Now we got cockeyed, you can tell. It's so hot out here. Also, maybe doing this in the direct sunlight's a bad idea. See, it's cockeyed already. I guess we'll be pressing these the rest of the way on. At least we got them all about halfway done. That should make the pressing a little easier. I'm starting to realize I did a couple things wrong. The first and probably the biggest is these bushings were sitting out in the 105 degree or whatever day, all day, getting really hot. Would have been a lot smarter to start them in the freezer. So that would be like 100 degrees difference right there. At the very least, that would have saved on nitrogen because it was boiling off super fast from dropping those really hot bushings in. Also, maybe I should have pre-lubed the eyes before I dropped in the bushings, because it did seem like they were kind of sticking as soon as they touched. So I think it would have helped to have like a piece of wood with a bigger hammer. I was really worried about hammering on these too hard with that ball peen hammer because I didn't want to deform anything. As you can tell, I'm a complete newbie with the liquid nitrogen. I've always been wanting to try it. But if you have some suggestions, please let me know in the comments. I'd be interested to hear what I was doing wrong. Anyway, we're almost done with this. This isn't that bad. This was all completely full of dried out grease, so I scraped all that out. Really exciting stuff. And then this also here, you can see that big mark. I seem to recall these shims went here. I don't know if these are actually shims or if they're just kind of so nothing grinds, you know, when it's turning. Okay, got all those cleaned up and ready to go. Now on the barrel side, they have these big ones, which I don't have in my kit here, so I'll just refurbish this one, clean it out and such. Looks like it had sealant on it too. So this is a JIC-4 cap. That's good to know for when I redo the grease hoses. That's what they're using. Thank you. We're just gonna kind of pre-lube this stuff. It's been sitting out in the 105 degree sun all day. Put a little bit in here. Yeah, there's one. Probably needs a little bit of back pressure to get all the way around. Oh, it's coming out the side. Both sides. Try it again. Ah, dang it. so hung up. Okay, we got a brand new pin here. Just kind of, it's not quite lined up, but it's close. There is no room in here for these shims. Although we'll wait till it settles in, maybe it'll, there's some room will open up. Okay. Well, maybe I can use this. Oh. All right. Okay, nice. And oh shoot. Now we gotta rotate it. How do we do that? Oh, there's the hole. Okay, we'll get you up here for the end. Just the right size. There we go. That's on there. So now the hard part is getting the length of this right to fit in there, because I remember I had to jack up the boom a little bit to get this to extend a little bit, so that we'll figure it out. We kind of line up the rod end here a little bit. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, here's the deal. You can see it's extended too far. I'm 100% sure that this rod is all the way in. So I think what's happened, I mean, like I said, it's been 2 years since I did this, and I think it's kind of settled into the ground. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'll get the bottle jack in here and jack up the boom. Okay, let's see if I can do this without crushing myself. What is that? Right there. Look at that. How did I manage that? Yeah, boy. Now, if I was smart, I would have looped that one time less, so it would have hung lower. But there's nothing to do about it now. Still not great. Now, if I was extra smart, I would have cut this one and not the other one, because this one was the one that was binding up. These aren't touching. This isn't touching. Look at that. It's holding itself up. First time in 2 years. I'm about to put the boom cylinders back on, and I think I lied earlier in the video when I said that the pins were in good condition, because once I cleaned them up, like this one's really bad, for example. If I can get this on here, like on that side, and then if you look, this is where it touches the frame. That pin's bad. This pin is a lot better. It's still not great. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's. I think this is going to be good enough for me. So I'm going to keep this pin. I got really lucky. I looked on eBay today and I saw one of these for sale. It's like an ITR part, but it's the same John Deere part number cross-reference. And I think it's going for like 25 bucks. So I'm the only bidder on it. So hopefully I'll just cross my fingers. This video that you're watching right now is not going to go live until the auction's over, though, because I know exactly what would happen. So this one's about as good condition as that first pin. There's really no huge gouges out, and it's not worn horribly. It is worn. You know, basically this whole area right here is in the frame. That's why it's all shiny, because it was kind of protected. And then this is kind of the outer part of the frame. So all this is, of course, fine, as you would expect. And then this right here is where the cylinder rides. And there's really not that much, maybe like 10 thousandths off. For some reason, these pins are really way more expensive than everything else. From Deere, these are $400 each, where the other ones I think from Deere were like, I want to say 200, and you can get aftermarket ones for about 100. This one is $800. I mean, it's huge, so it kind of makes sense, but this is really, really expensive. So I think we're just going to call this good. And you can see water's been sitting in here for a while, because there's probably not much you can do about it, but besides keeping this thing pretty greased. And it's not really, I don't think it's going to hurt anything, but it's not the best. Nice and smooth up there. So anyway, I'm going to clean all this junk out of here, and then, you know, get it as clean as possible inside, just so there's not a bunch of gravel and dirt grinding away everything in here. I was just cleaning out these mount points, and you can see the other side of those pins being worn. Yeah, the bushings are pretty galled up in there. So someone was definitely, that one's pretty bad too. Get that from the other side. Someone was definitely running this dry for a period of time. This one's not too bad. I think the inner dimensions is pretty good. So I don't know what's going to happen, you know, with the new pin going in there. The pin's just going to get ruined too, or what? I guess we'll find out. Really not much you can do about it, I think, except for welding it up and line boring it, which is an expensive proposition. Oh, this thing is a little bit heavy. Yeah. A little bit of slop there. Those ready, and I do believe there were shims on this one. From the wear pattern, it looks like the big one went on this side like that. sure that'll be fine, right? It won't slip off and break. Okay, a couple mistakes made. Number one, this needs to rotate around so the grease fitting is on the top. Not a big deal. Second problem I realized is that the heads are on one of these cylinders is backwards. It needs to be flipped around 180. You'll see why once they're on. I can do that once it's on the machine though. I think it'll be okay. Let's see. Really, I just need to get it so I can rotate this later. So just do that. Whoa. Can't quite see what I'm doing here. That might work. There he goes. Get in there. Ugh. Going in? Nope. Oh, there we go. Right there. Should be able to hang it off that. Yes. Okay. Just put the pin on this side. That. So the way this is supposed to be, you see this port on the bottom here? That's supposed to be facing towards the camera, like pointing inward. And then when that happens, this port is supposed to be on top, which will not be the case. This will be on the bottom. So I'm gonna have to rotate the head around. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but on the parts diagram for this, the heads are the same part number for both of these cylinders, but the barrels are different. The only thing that I can tell is different is the grease fitting is on a different spot between the two barrels. So the question I need to ask myself is, the grease fitting is supposed to be down here, which I guess would make it easy to get to. You know, you just put a 90 degree and plug in. If the grease fitting is up here, is that harder to get to? I mean, it's gonna be pointing basically perpendicular out. I don't think that's gonna be a problem. I mean, the cab's gonna be right here, but you can kind of get in. So I think I'm just gonna go with it. And I think we're just gonna go for it. Hope for the best. Yep. Uh-oh. Okay. Easy. Okay. Okay, where's those? Okay. That's gonna be a problem. Okay, whew. Okay, we'll come back to the shift. Okay. Ow. Jeez. You could really smash your fingers on this if you're not careful. Come on. Wish I could do it with this. There we go. Okay. Still way far off though. Oh, I think I got it. Yes. Partially in. Yeah, so if you look in the gap here, no gap on that side. This is both of the shims. Fits in there, so we do want to put those in, I think. Okay, I got the ports plugged up, so hopefully this doesn't want to move as much. I'll take this out. Here we go. A big one on this end. There we go. Nice. Wasn't too bad. So look, that port down there is correct. It's pointing in. And then this needs to be flipped around 180, so that's pointing straight up. As far as the grease point, I mean, it's really easy to reach right now, obviously, but there's going to be a bunch of lines and such in the way right here. I'll have to look at some pictures to see if you can get it on that side. This is going to be the hardest one because the cab's over here. And you can see it should be right here, which is really easy, but it would get dirt a lot easier, so I don't know. Maybe it's for the best, we'll see. Okay, we're all rigged up here to move it to the other side. Hopefully this goes well. And I've got a new toy here to move it with. This is a boom extension for forks. It's really meant for a forklift, but we'll give it a shot. The boom does extend out, but I think this thing's gonna be so tippy, we don't wanna do that. A little tippy. Can this rotate? Oh. See if I can just get it in right there. I'd say that this is going well, but I don't want to jinx it. nice, not bad for 300 bucks. So now, of course, the grease fitting up here is wrong. It needs to be on the other side. But I think getting this in first, it'll be easier to fix that after it's on. And hopefully this kept the distance it needs to be. At least close. Yep, there we go. Oh yeah, this is nice. Get in there. Oh yeah, look at that, that was easy. Okay, well, bad news. Some of you probably already caught on to this, but this is not a boom pin. I think this is one of the stick pins. And the way you can tell is on a boom pin, if you look over here, the hole right here to hold it into place is on this, the flat side. On this pin, which is the stick pin, the hole's over here. So while this is the right diameter, I can't actually use this because there's no way to retain it. So I had these swapped up this entire time, which unfortunately means two things. Number one, I probably could have reused this pin on the stick with no problems. This was a pretty decent pin. And two, the actual boom pin that I do have is this one, which I'm not sure if you can tell, but it has a little bit of wear on it, like in this area, just a little bit. So this one is also bad. I mean, it has the same exact problem. It's greased is the only difference. So I'm just gonna leave this one here for now, and I'm gonna have to find another boom pin. Like I said, I already had one I found on eBay for like 50 bucks or $25. It was really cheap, but I'm gonna have to find another one now because these are horrible. But for now, I'll go ahead and put the other boom cylinder in. It's really not too hard to swap these pins out. Like I said, these were 400 bucks from Deere. So if anyone out there watching has like an aftermarket connection, like through ITR or others, a couple others, drop me an email, and that would be a huge help. Maybe I shouldn't use wood on here. Whoa, there we go. Okay. Why did it drop so much? There we go. Some idiot put wood chunks in here. I don't know who did that. Oh, so close. Okay. Oh, I saw that happen. There we go. Okay. There we go. I got it. Piece of cake, pretty much. Not really. Oh, easy. Okay, it needs to go down about 1 inch. Oh, yes. Man. Now it's gonna want to push the pin through the other side. We gotta be a little careful. my gosh. They're making it too easy. Look at that. All right, I thought of this trick last night. We'll see if it works here. Like perfectly 3.5 inches. This will kind of give me a ramp in case it comes loose. Let's see here. What's the best way to do this? That port's free. Leaking fluid. Top port's free. Is it gonna? It's not gonna do the thing. I'm gonna go against my better judgment and give it a little chooch of compressed air in there. Hopefully it's just kind of it's a little bit stuck. Oh boy, why is it so stuck? Okay, it is moving. I'll be careful with this. This isn't exactly a sturdy framework. Come on. There we go. Knew that was gonna work. Now this should be just. There we go. Not good for the old grease fitting. All right, the pin is in. I'm not going to put any of the retaining stuff on because I'm obviously going to replace that pin. So it's just to kind of keep it in place for now. All right, we've got to fix this little ellipse from before. Is this thing's been getting worse and worse. This thing was a total dud and I forgot to deal with a warranty, so now I'm stuck with it. Just has 0 power and it just shuts off. Even though this battery's full. Okay. Oh, too far. And don't worry, we're going to go through and torque. All the fasteners on these cylinders need to be torqued. We'll do that at the end. Look what we got going on up here. Wasn't I just throwing my tools up here and such a few minutes ago? I guess they're not mean right now. Not even going to bother cleaning that stuff up because this whole thing needs to be disassembled. There's a ton of linkages in here that are all worn out. The thumb cylinder, which is still on here, needs to be rebuilt. I mean, this whole thing has to come apart, but I'll wait until the machine's actually functional before I do that. It'll make it a lot easier. So I'm guessing the grease fitting needs to go. There we go. Okay. Okay, when you go up, Still needs to go that way. There we go. There it is. Piece of cake. So obviously this grease spot is supposed to be flipped around. Can I move this? Yeah. I guess I can rotate it without smashing my fingers. Okay. So, how do you line this up? It needs to go there. Okay. Oh, we're actually really close. I think that cylinder only has to come out a tiny bit. Man, this thing is so sloppy. Add more. There it is. You just got to use your knee to hold it in place. And I'll tell you what, guys, this is a real project. I didn't realize it was going to take this long. I actually started this video trying to finish the hoses, but then I quickly realized I had to have the cylinders on before I could finish. So this is where we're at. But this took some time to do all this. It's just working with big heavy stuff. You gotta take your time and do, try not to hurt yourself. This is how far I wanted to get before I ended the video. So here we are, we're at the end. Next video is going to be finishing all the hoses on this thing. I also have to bleed the hydraulic system of air, or at least the pump and motors and all that. So we'll be doing that next video, at least that's the goal. Just a couple things before I go though. Number one, the star of this thing is really the skid steer. This machine is such a game changer for me. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you know how much I've struggled. It almost feels like I'm cheating when I use it. The hydraulics on it are just amazing. You saw me in this video. I was easily, from 10 feet away, placing stuff right where it needed to go with no problems, like first or second try. It's just amazing. This boom extension on it is great. It's really powerful. Unfortunately, this machine's so light, like I can't really, extend the boom out, and there's probably a extremely small limit of weight of what I can move with it because it'll just want to tip. But it's a great addition to this thing. After the rebuild series on it, I really have not touched it at all. Has had zero problems except for one thing, which I'll show you here. And it's right here. If you can see this wetness, this cylinder right here is leaking. It just needs to be rebuilt. This thing's so small though. I mean, it's such a treat after doing the excavator. It shouldn't really be a problem, but it's definitely leaking. I mean, just zero issues in here, zero leaks. It's really dirty in here, but nothing has leaked. It has not burned any oil, although I do need to change the oil. It's about time to change the brake and oil. So just overall though, this machine is awesome. It's so quiet and smooth. It starts up great. It runs great. Really happy with it. I'm kind of getting attached to it actually. And the final thing is this spare cylinder, which I picked up last week. I kind of mentioned it before, but one of my boom cylinders is most likely going to be bad, so I got this one just in case. This one should be a lot better. It was at the junkyard, but it's been, but I can see that the wiper seal is intact versus mine, which had no wiper seal. So I don't think this one will be a problem if I need to rebuild it. I had also planned at the end of this video to try one more method to extract a bushing out of these things. I think I have a better idea versus all the welding that I had to do before. But just looking at all the bucket linkage, I can tell you right now there's going to be a lot more bushings to remove and install. So that whole process plus the liquid nitrogen, I think I'm going to have that whole thing fine-tuned by the time I'm done with this machine. All right, guys, well, in case you couldn't tell, this video took a long time to make. There was a lot of new skills to learn, a lot of trial and error, a lot of just mistakes where I had to fix stuff. And you know, it's just part of the process. But like I mentioned, the next video is already in progress. It shouldn't hopefully be too far away. If you made it this far and you're still here watching, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you for offering advice in the comments. I do read the comments, and you might notice that I actually do take to heart a lot of the advice that you guys give. So thank you very much for that, and I will see you on the next video.